gonna grab double Houndour. Path to the Peak goes in play. Houndoom, single strike roar first. We're going to evolve into a Gengar VMAX. Boss's orders there, and we're just gonna be absolutely chilling on this Mew V.
You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it!
Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. We're going to be covering another Brilliant Stars deck profile, and this one's going to be on one of my favorite decks of all time, Gengar VMAX. Now, I know I've already covered this deck on the channel, and I did an Arceus build. I'll be the first one to admit where I'm wrong, or where I think a deck could be better. Gengar VMAX on its own is a better deck. I see a lot of players playing it with Bibarel. Right now, this build in this video, to me, is the best build for this deck. Between Fear and Panic hitting really well with Arceus V-Star and G-Max swallowing up, doing 250 plus all the damage modifiers with Single Strike Energy and Choice Belt, this deck seems very well positioned in our current metagame for any events, including Brisbane Regionals, including the Meta-Fi Regionals, including Salt Lake City, including the Late Night Series. I would give Gengar a try if I were to be playing in any of these events. That's really what I'd be playing. I'm not playing in any of the events because I'm running a lot of them, but Gengar VMAX is absolutely fantastic. In this video, I'm going to be covering over my deck list as a deck profile. You can check out the list below in the description. Copy and paste that right into PTCGO, copy and paste it right into PTCG Live, or try it out for yourself in real life. If you're trying to pick up any of the cards for the deck, go to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code ZLesage5, or you can go to AtlasCollectibles.com, plug in code ZLesage8 to save off of your orders. If you're trying to learn a little bit more about this deck or anything else, go to metafy.gg/@ZachLesage, book me for a coaching session, and I can help you with anything that you're trying to do to improve in Pokemon. I'll also be covering over gameplay in this video, so check out all that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments if you like this deck. If it's not, let's spark a discussion. Let's jump to the deck, see exactly what's going on. Jumping into this deck list, we have access to Gengar VMAX. Its Fear and Panic attack is absolutely busted nowadays. A lot of decks are playing V Pokemon, which is V, VMAX, V-Star, and V Unions. Decks such as Arceus V-Star play Arceus V-Star, another Arceus V on the bench, and maybe even another side Pokemon such as Duraludon. You can honestly get a lot of OHKOs with Fear and Panic for only 2 energies, and you can accelerate those energies with Houndoom to this Pokemon really quick. G-Max Swallow Up, it does 250 base, but with Single Strike energies and the newly released Choice Belt, you can swing for some massive OHKOs. Did I mention that this Pokemon's Dark type? Pretty important when Mew VMAX is the absolute best deck in formats. We also have Arceus V-Star, which is arguably the second best deck in formats that is weak to fighting. We have Stonjourner that can easily roll through it with Giga Hammer as a single prize card Pokemon. Alternatively, if you're playing against a single prize card deck, you can attack with the 2 Stonjourners and 4 copies of Houndoom, accelerating energies with Single Strike Roar to your various Pokemon. This deck seems to have answers against everything, and similar to last format, a lot of people are not taking this deck seriously. I know in my previous build I had Arceus V-Star, I see some builds with Bibarel and stuff like that. I put a lot of effort into this deck, and consciously, this is the deck that I want to present to the community. I think Gengar VMAX is the most underrated deck. If there is a time to play Gengar VMAX right now, why would you not? Mew VMAX is the best deck in format. Everyone's playing it. It's probably 20-25% of any major event, any online event, whatever. That means 1 in 4 matchups you should just have an auto win, especially when we factor in Path to the Peak. If you go to the second best deck in format, Arceus Inteleon, Gengar VMAX should be able to destroy it because it has a relatively low HP. You have Gengar VMAX that can knock it out easily with Fear and Panic or G-Max Swallow Up. You also have access to Stonjourner to beat those matchups. If you happen to run into a Gengar Mirror, you have Stonjourner. Gengar happens to be weak to fighting. We have Arceus Duraludon. You could just run through them with Path to the Peak and G-Max Swallow Up to get OHKOs or 2 HKOs. Am I mentioning anything else? Oh yeah, single prize card Pokemon. You can knock them out like Malamar. You can knock out Durantech with Stonjourner and Houndoom. This makes this deck incredibly effective. What else do we got going on? Well, we got access to Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX going down. A lot of players just aren't playing that deck because Mew's the #1 deck in the format. So Gengar VMAX right now is absolutely rolling through the format. This is my most updated build. And between Ultra Ball and Lumineon and Choice Belt, this deck gains so much. Let's jump into some gameplay and see exactly what this deck can do. So we're going to call the coin flip, and we lost the coin flip. I'm going to be playing against my good friend Calvin Connor from the Shuffle Squad. Looks like they're playing Mew, and they're letting me go first. But as you can see, we do have the double Battle VIP Pass and access to a Crobat. So you can see how broken this deck is, especially if we are playing against Mew. Sometimes you got to ask your friends to play some interesting matchups. We'll see exactly how this all turns out. But overall, I'm pretty hyped about it. So nothing really crazy going on here. And Houndour is going to be the best start in this matchup. I do want to say Houndour is probably the best start in the deck, because if your opponent is able to knock out one of your Pokemon, you'd much rather them knock out a single prize card Pokemon than anything else. So of course we'll draw an extra card. Gengar to boot, we're going to have a full bench. We're absolutely chilling here. Stonjourner is probably one card we don't need in this matchup, so we'll have to see how it goes out. But let's double check our prize cards with Battle VIP Pass first. Okay, we're going to grab double Houndour because I think that seems pretty important. And we can see, so far, we did prize our Lumineon, not really a big deal. Didn't really prize any other Pokemon that I can see. We did prize a Houndour, so a Houndour, a Lumineon. We did prize... We have the Urn of Vitality right there. We did prize a Pat to the Peak. It wouldn't be bad for us to get Pat to the Peak this turn. We did prize a Marnie. And we did prize a Choice Belt. Yeah. And it looks like we also prized a Hiding Dark. I think that's 6 if I'm doing basic math in my head. So let's go grab Houndours. Let's go ahead, pitch away this Stonjourner from our hands so we can draw some more cards with Crobat. So let's pitch that away. Let's go ahead, grab another Gengar so we can put that down from our hand. Let's go. Gengar goes here. We actually don't need our other Battle VIP Pass, so that's kind of cool. We're going to waste this out of our hand first. So let's play it down. You only need one Battle VIP Pass. Playing 2, totally, completely acceptable. So let's grab that. Let's go ahead, attach this here. Let's play that down. And let's go Crobat. Our opponent likely doesn't play Marnie at all, so that's pretty chill for us. And while we didn't necessarily get a great hand here, we do have access to some decent stuff. We can attach, retreat, attack with Dark Slumber, knocking out our opponent's Pokemon. So let's go. Path to the Peak goes in play, and we're going to pass our turn to Calvin playing Mew. We really couldn't have asked for anything else, and I do know that Gengar does look like a brick fest. And sometimes Mew's just going to have an answer, but so far, I think we're doing a really good job of just getting around things. The deck doesn't need much to see success, and I think that's really what we're going for. We had a bunch of bench Pokemon go down. We might, if they knock out the Houndour or one of our Pokemon, we might be able to top deck something else. But right now, I think we're like kind of chilling. We have access to Crobat in our deck, or if we have Lumineon, we could go Lumineon. And since our hand is dead, I do want to kind of point it out there that if you have a dead hand, there's probably a higher chance that you are going to draw an important card. We're really like any kind of top deck away. Is you're playing against a deck like this, you might want to tone down your prize cards as you play through it. And what I mean by that is, if you play against a 3 prize card deck and match them with 3 prize card energy, you don't really need, they can knock you back out, and the matchup seems pretty back and forth. We can do a lot of knockouts with Gengar's Dark Slumber and stuff like that, so I think that's really what our plan is. We could even knock out Pokemon like Mew VMAX or Mew V with Single Strike Roar. You could even knock out a Mew VMAX by going Single Strike Roar 4 times and adding a Choice Belt to do 320 damage. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do. It doesn't look like Calvin is going to be going for an attack this turn, which might be a little bit scary for us. If we top deck a boss's orders, we could just take out this Mew, and I think we're going to be in a much better position than otherwise, but let's see exactly what's going to be going on. I think we'll have to see. That's a really nice Ultra Ball that Cal has there. And fingers crossed that we top deck something like Mew, or maybe even another Pat to the Peak. Like, sometimes you're going to drop a Pat to the Peak, Mew does not have the instant training cord or Cramomatic, and you could just take them out completely. So overall, we did top deck a Marnie, so that's a huge top deck for us. I think what we're actually going to do is get the knockout with the Houndour on the Meloetta. I think that's the best thing that we possibly can do. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Let's go Houndoom. Let's use our Single Strike Roar first. I know that we have all of our Single Strike energies, so let's go ahead and rip an energy on the Houndour. And this is what I mean by toning down our prize cards. If we send up a Gengar V, our opponent can knock us out with the Mew VMAX. We're trying to offer up a single prize card Pokemon here, basically laying out a bait or a trap for our opponents, because we'd much rather them knock out a Houndour than our Gengar V, the whole meal of our deck. Let's play that Marnie on our opponent. Hopefully we can get a Pat to the Peak or another draw supporter or something going on. Yeah, this is a much better hand. And the biggest mistake I'll see players playing Gengar do is evolve into a Gengar VMAX. Mew's just going to target it down, slap down that 4th Fusion Strike energy, and we're going to be behind in the game. I think we just roll with the bite. We do get the knockout because this Pokemon is weak to dark. So keep that in mind, that a lot of these single prize card Pokemon that are psychic are all weak to dark, and our hand's absolutely brilliant for next turn. So let's go ahead, bite, knock it on the Meloetta. Boom, we're up prize card 1. We're going to try to win the game in 2 turns when Cal kind of goes for the Mew VMAX strategy. At some point, they have to knock us out with the Mew VMAX. So if Cal does evolve, then we're good. Otherwise, we're playing 3 turns. So we're going to win the game in 2 or 3 turns. Cal has to win the game in 3 turns. So as long as Cal evolves, we should just be able to take this game. We'll see how it plays out. You can see all the Pokemon V that this deck plays. So you have access to Gengar VMAX. So now we're just kind of in the driver's seat. As long as Cal evolves, we should be able to just absolutely destroy this matchup. And Gengar is working as it normally should. So there's that Mew VMAX. And if Cal just goes for boss's orders, I'm totally fine with going for boss's orders. We can attack with a Gengar VMAX at that point, and then we checkmate the game. And this is why this deck is just like so good. You can just beat Mew VMAX by having an average game. We got the double Battle VIP Pass, but all we needed was 1. We probably didn't even need it too much. We could have got by with just like the quick ball. You can see that like it just really helps boost that extra consistency. The mentality of this deck is that it is a pyramid. The base is the largest portion. That's why the first turn is very important. We also value the last turn very importantly by having boss's orders plentiful and Urn of Vitality is plentiful. Out of all the Gengar builds that I've had, this is absolutely the best one that I've come up with, and I'm super stoked to see how it plays out. If Cal decides to attack us with Psychic Leap, for what it's worth, we could all just go after Mew VMAX and wipe our opponent's Pokemon out. We might not go boss's orders if they go for something like that. We might want to keep the boss's orders for a future turn. I think we'll be able to win the game there. So we'll have to see. Fingers crossed again that Cal just knocks it out with this Mew VMAX so that we do have game in hands. And we'll see what's going on here. I can't tell exactly what Cal is doing. Perfect. So there's Cross Fusion Strike, Psychic Leap. That's fine. I don't know if Psychic Leap's going to put the Mew under. Oh, probably putting Mew under and then going the Meloetta. Unfortunately, Cal doesn't have another Mew up, so we could just wipe this Mew out, and Cal likely has nothing. So we're going to send this up because it has free retreat. It's much better than sending up anything else. Considering that there would be... I think at this point, it's a great time to evolve. Normally, I wouldn't like to evolve, but Cal could potentially knock us out with a Meloetta by going Ellis' Sparkle and attaching another Fusion Strike energy, considering there would still be 3 Fusion Strike energies in the deck. So let's go ahead and... we're going to go ahead and attach the Hiding Darkness energy to this Gengar V, because we really don't need the extra energies there. We're going to evolve into a Gengar VMAX. We also have ways to just draw extra cards in general, so let's go pitch this away. We can get another Crobat. We're looking really for an Urn of Vitality here. Before we do anything, we could go another Single Strike Roar onto this Gengar in case anything happens to our other Pokemon, because we could offer up Gengar VMAX and Gengar V and just be able to take down our opponents. So let's use Crobat. We're going to try to draw into a Path to the Peak if possible. We didn't get Path to the Peak, but you can see we still have a lot of resources. I actually should have played down the boss's orders. That's my mistake. That would have given us 1 extra card. So we'll see what our top deck is. If it's Path to the Peak, it definitely was a mistake, but these are the little things that can add up as you play. So let's go boss's orders there. Even if we didn't have boss's orders, we did have another one. So let's go ahead and go for Fear and Panic. And we're just going to be absolutely chilling on this Mew V. We also have boss's orders to take down other Mews as they come down, or any other reputable Pokemon. Considering Cal's likely not going to be taking a knockout here, we're just chilling on anything. We also have Lumineon, so we might not even need to play Path to the Peak. We could search out whatever supporter we want with Lumineon, including boss's orders, to take those game-winning leads. And at this point, Cal has to attack with Meloetta in order to try to win the game. But considering we already have a Meloetta down, we win the game in 2 turns automatically. Cal has to win the game in multiple turns. I think Escape Rope, no matter what, Cal has to take 3 turns. We win the game in 2 turns. This deck doesn't play Marnie or Judge or anything to affect our hands. We have secured game on board. We actually cannot lose this game no matter what Cal does. Especially considering we have Switch and Hiding Darkness. We could just kind of play with any of the Pokemon that we have up here, really showing how powerful Gengar is. So I think like showing the strategy here, how versatile this deck could be, and we're beating the best deck in format. That's the best way to go about it. If you are finding yourself playing against an Arceus deck, they do have a lot of V Pokemon down. They do have a lot of things that you can knock out. So Gengar, it's very hard for them to knock out a Gengar in one hit. Quite often they don't. So unless they're playing an Arceus Toolbox deck with Galarian Zapdos, then they really don't win against that either. And then Arceus Duraludon, you have Path to the Peak to get around Skyscraper. And if you're playing against Malamar, just turn your deck into a Houndoom deck. Even if you're playing against a Durant deck, you could just turn yourself into a Houndoom. Double single strike energy allows you to go Darkness Fang for 90. This really shows me that Gengar is the best deck. Now, I never thought that Cal could get the knockout with Power Tablets. It's a little bit scarier now that we're looking at it. I never necessarily thought of Power Tablets. However, we haven't used any single strike roars on this Pokemon, so I think we're still safe. Cal does need a lot to kind of roll through this game. So you can see Cal brought it really close at 270, but still 50 damage short. At this point, I really don't see how Cal can get around, especially if we can get a Gengar VMAX out here. So let's go ahead, roll up with Gengar V. We're going to attach an energy here. And there's no point of us playing anything else. Like, I think we're like completely rolling in this game. Maybe I could have held on to that, but it reasonably doesn't matter. We have access to boss's orders. We're just going to go ahead and go Fear and Panic. If there's... How many bosses has Cal played? It doesn't really matter. I'm debating just retreating the Gengar VMAX, but I'd rather have the one with more like HP and all that stuff. So let's just go Fear and Panic. Knockout. Really simple. You could see like we now have one prize card left, or sorry, 2 prize cards left. Cal's going to likely attack us with a Mew VMAX. We could attach an energy and go Pain Explosion. We have the energy secured in our deck because we have one more single strike energy. We automatically have it, and we also have access to Professor's Research if we didn't have it. We also have access to Lumineon V if we need to search out boss's orders. If there's any Pokemon that we struggle against knocking out, we just have a boss's orders in our hands. Mew, when you're playing against Mew, it might be powerful, but we can have a secured board state against this deck. So even though Cal's going to bring it one turn away, we're always that one turn in advance. And I think we could have played around from Cal, like we could have added extra turns. But why would I play that out if we have the secured win con? I almost want Cal to knock out this Arceus VMAX, or this Gengar VMAX. Yeah, there's that. I think that Cal's just not going to attack. I think it might just be some kind of, maybe a Deco measure or Psychic Leap to try to avoid decking out. I think it's going to be Psychic Leap. Yeah, exactly. So Cal's going to try to avoid decking out with boss's orders. We're going to give Cal the well played. We're going to go switch back into Gengar and absolutely destroy Gengar, crushing this matchup as always, showcasing why it's the most underrated deck in our current format. So as you can see, Gengar absolutely rolled that game. I wouldn't have mind playing some extra games with Gengar, but the point of these videos is to really show the strategy. If you're ever looking for anything one-on-one, I could definitely show you on metafy.gg/@ZachLassage. That's a shameless plug, but at the same time, I do just want to show, let people know that the strategy of Gengar is going to remain the same, whether or not you're playing against a Mew VMAX deck or an Arceus V-Star deck. Fear and Panic can roll your opponent, and G-Max Swallow Up can do a lot of damage, especially if you're running into something like Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX, again, one of the other better decks in the format. I'm not entirely sure why Gengar gets a bad rep, or people like that. I think sometimes people just think this deck bricks, and in some cases it does. This is a game example, that game where I did brick, and I was able to win. And I know it's due to weakness, but I think I would have been able to win against any deck, for the most part, because I'm playing against the most vicious deck in the format, right? Like, if we look at it, it's like playing against Mew's getting dropped into a tank of piranhas. I'm the deck that eats the piranhas, and I think Gengar VMAX has a place in the metagame because of that. So if you are trying to beat Mew VMAX, I think it's a good idea to counter the best deck in the format. It's a good idea to counter pretty much every single best deck in the format, and considering Rapid Strike Urshifu and Fighting type decks are at an all-time low, there's no better time to be playing Gengar. It was already the 3rd best deck in the Fusion Strike format, and the only reason why it's not making these lists as high up is because players just aren't playing it. It's legitimately just an underplayed deck, and I can fully assure you I've seen a lot of success when it comes to this trophy case from playing some of these underrated decks, such as Blacephalon GX, where no one else thought it was good. That deck turned me into a regional champion, international champion, semi-finalist, and a Mexico City special event champion. Like, it's one of those things, like, when I know how a deck's good, I really want to share it. So before anything else is going up for Brisbane Regionals, for anything that's going for the Metafly Regionals, for anything going for Salt Lake or any other event, I heavily encourage you. Geez, it took a second to get that out. I heavily encourage you to play this deck. If you are trying to pick up any of the cards for this deck online, go to PTCGO plug in code ZELASAGE5 to save 5% off your order. You can also go to AtlasCollectibles.com, plug in code ZELASAGE8 to save 8% off your Pokemon related order. And like I said, coaching at metafly.gg/@ZachLasage. I could show you how to play any matchups for any of the decks. Been doing a lot of coaching. Recently just got into the top 5% of all coaches in the platform after only a month. I've been super busy, but I am accepting new clients and helping people out on their journey. So by all means, hit me up. It'd be absolutely awesome to help you out and just kind of hang out, gel, figure out what's going on. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Let me know in the comments what video you want to see next. Let me know exactly what's going on, and I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have a great one.
I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video and have yourself a great day. Thanks.